Weapons
I posted a
spoiler
video
review.
last week and I got a really good response on the feedback. I got a lot of good views from the screening of Weapons, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the spoiler review of Weapons. So a lot of people in the comments been asking like what happened to the kids, what happened, and I really didn't want to tell anyone because I want the movie to come out, but I keep getting such a kind of response. So I'm gonna go ahead and let everybody know this is going to be a spoiler review. Now, to answer everyone's question, they want to know what the significance of 217 was. She cast a spell and she essentially was a witch, and she did it at 217 in the morning. This is what got all the kids to leave their classrooms, or excuse me, leave their homes to essentially go to her house where she was staying with her niece and her husband. Now, the only thing that I left out about it in the main review was this kid right here, Mr. Christopher, who plays Alex. I felt so sorry for this kid in this movie, and he played this role to a T. Now, in the trailer, they say 17 kids went missing. But one thing they don't tell you, that you kind of see it in a couple of trailers of them interviewing this little boy. He is the one child in the classroom that didn't go missing. And no one ever put two and two together except for Julia Gardner's Justine. She knew something was wrong and how he was the only person that was kind of left unaffected, if you will. He was the only child that didn't go missing. But I have to give it to her. She played that role to a T. Now, a lot of people are asking, like, why exactly do you mean what she did? So now she was a witch and she was dying of cancer. And no matter how much witchcraft she knew, it couldn't essentially solve her disease. So they don't say this, but for the most part, she moved in with her niece and her niece and her and the family. And Alex was the little boy that lived there with them as well. And I think she moved in to kind of suck the life force out of his parents, thinking that would be enough because she had cancer, but that wasn't enough. I.e., she had Alex get items from the kids' classrooms to essentially so she could cast a spell. And this was the scene at 2:17 in the morning when she cast the spell. That's when she cast the spell. This is when all the kids came. So this was the scene when she was in the kitchen, and essentially the reason why she got all the kids was she essentially wanted to drain their energy so to heal her. And low key, I didn't talk about him in my first review, but this kid right here, who played Alex Lilly, his name is Craig Christopher. He was probably one of the best child actors I've seen in a horror movie. Like, to me, he held it down. Like, he was put in an impossible situation. If you guys can remember, I'm gonna drop in the back. But there was a scene in the movie where you saw people stabbing themselves in the forks. The his aunt, well, his great aunt, essentially made him promise that she wouldn't tell anyone, that he wouldn't tell anyone that she was there because she was a witch and had all the kids disappear. So he pretty much was in chains, if you will. He couldn't tell anyone about what was going on. How all these kids were essentially in the basement the entire movie, pretty much in a catatonic state because the spell she cast on them did not, and he pretty much did the same to his parents. So if you remember a scene in the movie where the kids are the people are stabbing themselves with forks, she made them do that and said, if you tell anyone about what's going on here, if you tell anyone about me, I will have your parents do this until they die, and I'll have them eat one another. So, but I give it to, he had to endure so much. What keep in mind, no one knew where the kids were. The kids were in his basement. His parents were in a catatonic state, and he had to feed all of them. Like, and on top of all that, go to school while all this was happening. I was just like I have to give it to Mike, but he got her ass at the end. If you guys can remember the scene where all these kids essentially crowd up, they're crowding up around. Got Gladys Lilly right here. That's where that scene comes from, where he essentially he kept seeing the way that she pretty much was casting the spell. So this was the tree that essentially what she was able to control everyone from. What she would do is she would take something from their hair and then she would cast a spell and snap it. That's why the significance of they showed this in the trailer. Alex had seen her do this so much that he went ahead, took a piece of her hair, pricked his finger because you have to use your blood, and he snapped it. He snapped it, and essentially all the kids chased her through the whole neighborhood and essentially tore her apart piece by piece. That's how the movie ends. But it also ends very sad because they say it like everyone doesn't go back to normal. That's the one thing I like about this movie, how fucked up it is. Like, even though all the kids are no longer in like a catatonic state, like his parents, they pretty much have to go in like a home, like so they can relearn how to pretty much be people again. And he said at the end of the movie, he goes, "Oh, some of the kids just started learning how to talk at the end of the year." So that lady deserved the way how she died. She got ripped up piece by piece by all. It was ironic. She got ripped up by the ones that she was holding in essentially bondage in a catatonic state. Said this week, it's amazing. Like I said, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Only reason why I didn't get a 10, it took a little too long to get to the meat of the ending, if you will. Like, you went on a lot of scenarios. So, but all in all, great movie.